What's up, my people? How we doing today? This is your boy Jason, and welcome back to the Debators podcast. I know we've been away for a while, but we're here to stay once more, and we have some real topical issues to discuss today. So stay tuned as we dive into these issues for your enjoyment. You know, today we'll be just taking a look at the education sector. And school's now back in session, so it's a good time to, take a little review and see exactly what's going on. See if the school here has got off to a flying start. Let's see if there are any itches, glitches. You know how it goes. Nothing is ever perfect. But today we will be looking at, first of all, we'll be looking at the main issue, which is the perceived shortage of teachers in Jamaica. Because according to recent reports, it seems like a lot of our teachers have been migrating, going to England, Canada, the United States in search of better, greener pastures, to put it blunt. So we're going to take a look at this. What is the cause of it and how we can resolve it? And we'll also be looking at, children, let me say, not really underage, but young children like in, say, first, second form. And does it benefit them to do subjects in these grades? And we'll also be taking a look at fifth formers exiting school with sometimes 13, 14 subjects to see exactly how beneficial it is to them and to see if it's really something that children should aspire to achieve 15 or 16 subjects, or we're just going to dive into it. Look if it's beneficial or it's just for show. Okay, so here we go. We kick it off right now.
Ready?
Get ready.
Get ready for the next fight.
Are you ready? Okay, so let's get it started. So the president of the Jamaica Teachers Associations, Dr. Garth Anderson, says that high schools across the country could be short of specialist maths and science teachers as the new school year looms. And he was speaking to Nationwide News about 3 weeks ago. Dr. Anderson says that school administrators are indicating that math and science teachers are moving to North America and Japan. And he's currently calling on the government to incentivize teachers to remain in Jamaica. Okay, so that's basically the gist of what the JTA president is saying. Now, I don't know your perspective on the whole issue, but I believe honestly that as a teacher, a lawyer, a doctor, whatever your profession is, okay, you should have the freedom and you have the right to apply your trade anywhere that is beneficial for you and your family. So, right off the bat, I don't disagree with teachers going to North America and Japan if it's a best decision for their families. Now, on the other hand, there's a part of me that worries that if this trend continues, and it started about sometime 10 years ago, like in about 2009 or so, when a mass exodus of teachers left Jamaica, and we really had a real shortage. It almost crippled the education sector, for want of a better word. And we're almost seeing the same thing being repeated now. Because when I checked, I saw some schools needing like 18 teachers. And I'm like wondering, come on, 18 teachers for one specific school. That's a massive impact not only on the school's resources as they would have to go out and, recruit other teachers, which can be a costly initiative in itself. And the real impact is the children. The children are suffering because it's hard to know that, okay, say for instance, like grade 9 students grade 9, grade 10, and grade 11. That's where students in Jamaica specialize in terms of high school, their subjects. So you started off with one particular teacher for, say, POB in grade 9, and by grade 10, you have a different teacher. Now, it takes an adjustment period for everything to flow. And if abruptly that teacher leaves and you have to have another teacher for grade 11, that's 3 teachers in 3 years. And each teacher teaches differently. And each student has to try their best to quickly adapt to the teacher's style of teaching and how they dispense information. So I think the persons who really suffer the most are the children. And it's hard to look at a teacher who is struggling with student loans, struggling with their mortgage, probably their car payments, and tell that teacher that, look here, for the good of Jamaica, don't go overseas where you'll make probably twice in 1 month that you'll make here for 3 months. Okay? Basically, not to go and work and achieve your dreams, your personal dreams. Don't be selfish, for want of a better word. Put Jamaica first. And it would be reasonable to ask this of teachers. If, the salaries and those things were at least competitive. Because a teacher who leaves here probably goes to America and works, say, put in a ballpark figure, say $20,000 per month or more. Not month, $20,000 per year. And that's 2-point-something million Jamaican dollars. Edging close to 2.5, depending on the exchange rate. And that teacher would not see those salaries in Jamaica, any at all, if they remain here. So we have to both look at it from a financial perspective, first of all, because teachers, they're human beings, just like you and me. They have stress. When we send our children to school, they are the ones who have to basically take care of them. So they're parents. And to be honest, Jamaica has really not appreciated the second parents all that much, if I'm totally honest, because we've been hearing for years now, teachers lobbying for back money, teachers lobbying for things that they're owed and they haven't got, retroactive payments and those things. And we understand that, hey, we're in a not really a physical crisis in terms of our economy, but we're in a squeeze. Let me say, we're in a squeeze. So certain things that we would want to get done, we don't really have the flexibility and the leg room to get it done. But it's hard to tell somebody to come to work every day for $1. That dollar is not meeting all their needs, but hey, ignore that company over there that is paying you $5 for the same labor that you're doing here for $1. It's hard. So the JTA president, he was speaking, as I said, he was speaking on nationwide. And he said that he's basically calling for the government to, incentivize teachers to remain. But I'm kind of wondering, in terms of the incentives, what exactly would you provide to teachers that is not monetary? Because I was listening to the news the other day, and I was hearing something being put forward about subsidized cars. Teachers get a special levy to bring in motor vehicles into the country. And I think I look at it on two levels. One, it could work, allowing them special rates and to remove some of the tariffs for them to bring in motor vehicles. But I look at it on another level to say, teachers, civil servants on a whole, they already have one of the best in terms of interest rates, one of the lowest interest rates in terms of borrowing money to purchase vehicles. They get 100% financing and all those things. There are special rates. There are a lot of those things that are already in place in terms of looking at it from a motor vehicle incentive side. And it could work, but it needs a whole lot more digging through and going through. Anyway, the Ministry of Education said secondary school principals who are facing challenges identifying mathematics and science teachers are encouraged to contact the micro-university and the Church Teachers College for support. Basically, what this is telling me that they're going to basically reach in and pluck out student teachers who are not that ready to face secondary children, because, teaching at the basic school and primary school, that's one kettle of fish. But when you get to the secondary school, that's where a can of worms open for a lot of persons. Because these are big kids. Some of them feel like they're big men and big women. They can talk and treat you anyway. And that's where the rubber hits the road at the secondary level. So I'm not quite sure about plucking from the micro-university and Church Teachers College. Okay, so I see here where Dr. Anderson further says, at the rate at which teachers are entering the system, the rate at which teachers are entering the system isn't enough to compensate for the rate at which they're leaving. So basically, the output is more than the input. We're losing more than we're gaining. And this is not really a great thing for us, because we already have a challenge, I would say, as in our country in terms of the sciences, mathematics and science. Not a lot of students are really interested or put their whole hearts into the sciences. So, I don't know. To have qualified specialists who have been doing this for 10, 15, up to 20 years leaving, it's really going to be something that is going to take us some time to recover from. But I think, personally for me, I think the solution that I have to this problem, and you can leave your own solutions and your ideas of how to stem the flow in the comment section below. I think that the government, first and foremost, they should sit down, come up with a detailed plan, and first, changing the mindset of teachers who are in college right now. Because there are some teachers there are some student teachers in college right now. The only thing is on their mind is to come out, get probably a 2 or 3 years teaching experience under their belt and then migrate. We have to change the mindset, first of all. We have to make it viable for teachers to graduate and be able to pay their student loans. Because a lot of times, these are the reasons why the teachers are leaving. They're buried in debt when they graduate university, and they're not earning enough to cover their daily expenses and their student loans. So I think that the government could say, okay, here's what we're going to do. And this may sound bold, but it could work. Just hear me out. Put a special interest rate on student loans for teachers. And put it into the contract when they're signing it. Okay? Put it into the contract to say this. Hey, we know the economy is a particular way right now, but we're actively working to get things better, and we're actively working to have, the overall economic climate better for sustainable jobs and sustainable living, and to make Jamaica the Vision 2030, the place to live, work, and do business. Put it into the contract when they're signing a student loan. If you dedicate 5 years of service in Jamaica, we'll cut your student loan repayment amount by 30% just for a number's sake, or any number that is applicable in the situation, or the number that everybody could agree with without taking too big of a loss. Okay? Put that into the teacher's student loan contract, and I guarantee you, if you work on what you say you're going to work on to grow the economy, teachers will be more inclined to buy into that idea. Because if you lay out a growth path for 5 years and you achieve that growth path, at the end of that 5 years, a teacher, say Teacher Brown, would look at his or herself and say, okay, after 5 years of service, am I able to live comfortably? Have I paid off my student loan, and things are in an okay to great situation for me? I think if we look at that, then, hey, it could work, but it's a start, okay? So that's my bit on the teacher shortage. It's really a crying shame, I think, because I remember a couple of years ago, Minister of Education basically said to the students who were in Teachers College, you might as well drop out because there are no jobs available for you. And I think that some of those teachers who got that message then are some of them who are actually leaving now to go abroad because they're not being fulfilled. Okay? So let's look into that. Let's try to come up with an amicable solution, because the students are suffering the most. Okay? So that's my piece on that. Some grooving jams as we get into our next segment. Okay, here we go. So basically we're talking about csec subjects. And is it feasible? Well, not feasible. Is it really beneficial for a first former to be doing 5 subjects? Really? And a fifth former to be graduating with 15, 20 subjects. I personally think that really it's up to the parents, because a lot of times when we see fifth formers graduating with, say, 15 subjects, a lot of times these 15 subjects weren't done in one sitting. A lot of times it was 2 in first form, 3 in second form, 2 another 1 or 2 in third or fourth form. You know, it goes on. So I think a lot of times when we see these headlines, oh, student graduates with 15 ones. It's not 15 ones in one setting, because I would imagine it would be extremely hard for a student to sit 15 subjects in one sitting. Many struggle to sit 5. And when I say struggle, I'm not just talking about the bright or the brilliance of the child. I'm talking about mental pressure and external pressure, internal pressure, pressure from your parents to succeed, pressure from yourself. You don't want to let anybody down and you want to come out on top. So I think sometimes these stories are over-exaggerated, because I see no problem for a student sitting, if he or she's capable, sitting a subject in grade 7, 8, 9, because what it does, it makes the load a whole lot easier. When you get to fifth form, you basically focus on the main things that you want to be doing. So you focus on the subjects that are going to be the highlight of your career. So say you want to be a doctor. You do the maths and the English, and you do those in first and second form. So, you get those out of the way, or third and fourth form, any way you prefer to do it. And like when you get to fourth form and fifth form, the sciences are the main staple of the medical field. So you basically have more time to spend doing your bio, your chemistry, and those things. So I personally don't see anything wrong with it. Okay? So I think that sometimes it is for sure, don't get me wrong, because there are 2 sides to every story. So sometimes it is for sure, because we're Jamaicans, we're a very proud people. So everybody wants to say, oh yes, here my daughter, my son got 10 grade 1s and this and that. But realistically, you need 5 subjects to enter university or college or whichever you prefer. Some programs you need a couple units of CAPE, but is it needed? I would say the answer is no. Is it beneficial? I would say the answer is yes, because you get exposed to a wide array of subject areas. So, as long as the child is capable and you as a parent or parents or guardians are able to finance this, then by all means, I think go right ahead. And if the child is motivated to do this, then go right ahead. Where I have the trouble is when the parents are forcing the children to do 10 subjects. I mean, come on. That's not really necessary. But as I said, as long as it's feasible for the parents and the children, they're able to do it, and they're not being pressured into it because the parents need a status symbol or to make the children out to be trophies to parade in front of their friends, I really don't have a problem with it. But that's my piece for now. That's the end of the podcast for today, okay? Stay tuned next week. We'll be uploading around Monday, Tuesday of each week. Topical issues that are affecting you or that are affecting me. And stay tuned. This is your boy Jason, and I hope you enjoy the podcast. Leave in the comment section below. Leave what you would like me to, topics that you would like me to discuss here on the podcast, okay? Leave comments about the subjects that we tackled today. Teachers leaving Jamaica, teacher shortage, brain drain, and children CSEC. Does the amount of CSECs that you acquire, does it put you at an advantage in terms of applications for college, or is it just for you to have as a personal memorabilia? So that's it. Until next time, it's your boy Jason. This has been the Debators Podcast.